Hi, welcome. Let's have a conversation about Mars and Gemini, shall we? Today is the 3rd of March, 2021, and Mars is moving into Gemini just about right now, 9 p.m. Central Time. Consider it is the 3rd of March, and Gemini is the 3rd sign ruling the 3rd house. I like all those threes. It makes me happy. So in the sky right now, Mercury is at about 16 degrees Aquarius, conjuncting Jupiter, trining the North Node, also in Gemini. So let's talk for a moment about what that means, right? Mars moving into Gemini. Mars is about action. It's about impulse. It's about how you put your energy into the world. It's about starting things. It's about inception. It is fire. Gemini is air. Gemini is about potential, limitless potential, witnessing the possibility available in any situation. And Gemini is about communication as well. And so it finds ways to communicate through all of those potentials. Does it have a hard time sifting and sorting? Yes, absolutely. And as it's conjunct Jupiter, could that be doubly true right now? Yeah, absolutely it could. Here's the thing, as Mars moves into Gemini, this could be a watch your mouth, right? Things could get a little blurty. You might say things you don't mean to say. You might be a little more blunt or argumentative or verbally clumsy than usual, especially with Mercury conjunct Jupiter. Here's the other piece of that, though. You might be lovelily eloquent. Is that a word? You might be beautifully eloquent. It just depends on if you can slow down your processing of the data, right? This is the key to Gemini energy. If you can slow down. So Mercury is the ruler of Gemini. So we're going to talk a little bit about Mercury's transits here as well. The other piece that I'd like to talk about, so we have all this heady, fiery air energy, right? We also have Venus and the Sun and Neptune all in Pisces, right? So Venus is all about beauty and the sensory experience, right? Elegance, refinement. And then we have the Sun, right, which is ego, will, your being. And then there's Neptune, right? That's nebulous. Those things which are better felt than spoken. And so to steep all of those bodies in that Pisces energy creates kind of this veiled, lush, kind of sensual, sort of, wrapped in velvet sort of feeling, right? Nothing is very clear. Your self-definition may be feeling a little off, and that's okay. We've got the Sun is conjuncting Neptune. The Moon is conjuncting Venus. At one point, the Moon, Venus, Neptune, and the Sun are all sitting very, very close together in Pisces. And then on the 13th, we have a new moon in Pisces. Right? That's a big deal. We'll talk about that. Allowing us to really create from our feels, right? Again, Pisces energy is super compassionate. There's nothing wrong with that energy. It's just a different way of existing. And in the depths is challenging, right? On the 15th, Mercury moves into Pisces. Which is very exciting. Mercury dislikes Pisces very much. It's not very comfortable there. In fact, Mercury in Pisces really has a challenge with its communication. It would love to be telepathic, right? At best, it's this kind of weird, like honing in, like almost like echolocation, like whale speak, right? Which, I mean, is fine if you speak that way. So there's a lot of intuitive communication that's possible, right? And don't forget about Mars, right? Mars is still in Gemini. Probably feeling a little stunted, okay, a lot stunted, by all of this wooziness, right? Yeah. On the 21st, the Sun and Venus both move into Aries, and Mars and the North Node trine Saturn and square a Mercury that is still in Pisces, right? So this is going to shift and change how that Venus and Sun energy feel, right? From that kind of flowing energy to that fiery energy, right? Mars is the ruler of Aries. And so that feeling of that Gemini energy is going to shift in response to the aspects and the energies of the galaxy around it. Still squaring that Mercury in Pisces, right? Which is actually really important. It means watch what you're saying and watch how you're saying it. On the 28th, we have a full moon at 8 Libra. Now, here's the thing. The Sun, Venus, and Chiron are all conjunct at 8 or 9 degrees of Aries at that moment in time. Mercury is conjunct Neptune, and the North Node is conjunct Mars, sextiling that Mercury, right? So there is an opportunity at that full moon to really dig into who we are, what we want, what we value, right? And perhaps even take steps toward your future, right? Your destiny. Still challenged by that perhaps inability to communicate clearly, but you might be inspired to communicate in different ways, right? Which is true. And then on the 4th of April, Mercury moves into Aries, which is going to shift that energy. Again, remember, we're talking about Mars in Gemini, and now Mercury in Aries, okay? So this is complementary energy back and forth, right? And that's important, right? They're in each other's host signs. So there might be brand new ways of communicating that come in between that time of the 4th when Mercury moves into Aries and the 12th when the new moon happens in Aries, right? That's a big deal. And then Mercury sextiles Mars on the 15th. So there's just a lot of interplay, right? A lot of give and take in this way that we're being asked to exist and communicate, right? This is a big deal. And it's all about values, right? Venus moves into Taurus at that point. So again, who are we at our core, right? With this reciprocity in the signs, we're being challenged, right, to be as clear as possible. As Venus moves into conjunction with Uranus in Taurus on the 22nd of April, Mars is at 29 degrees of Gemini. This is like a what's the word I'm looking for? Like a capsulization of this process that we're going through with Mars, right? If you're really able to sit with how you feel through all of these things, process your values, and these things at your core, right? These Venusian values, right? Your sensory experience, who you are, what you're valuing, and how you want to put that into the world. If you're able to communicate that, then you'll be able to follow suit when Venus conjuncts Uranus in Taurus, and you are able to really make those big seismic shifts and changes, especially with Mars at 29 degrees of Gemini on that same day. And then when Mars moves into Cancer, again, we still have that Venus, Uranus, Mercury adds to that. So this is a journey, right? This is like a treasure hunt. There's a lot that's going on through this Mars and Gemini transit. And every time we get to an X, there's more. Every time we get to this X, there's more. Every time we get to this X, there's more. That's life, right? But this time it's going to be all about how we create through our communication, whether it's challenged or whether it's clear. We have those abilities. And if we can follow the path of our values and always come back to alignment, right? Mars and Gemini, all of the possibilities, we're seeing it, but there's one clear path, right? And that's the path of how it feels, right? This is a bunch of Pisces energy. This is a bunch of Pisces transiting and Pisces aspecting energies. Venus is at play through all of this. So it's about refining, right? Coming always back to center, always back to center. So we've got strength and the Four of Cups. So this is, the strength. The strength for me is always faith, right? What a beautiful, with all that Pisces energy, to have this faith, right? Faith is that better felt than spoken, always. And, this is a card of daydream. There are a few different interpretations for the Four of Cups, but we're going to pull this daydream out, right? Because this is the divine giving you an opportunity, giving you some feelings, giving you a way to experience your feelings. What are you going to do with that? How are you going to choose to accept it and then put it into action, right? Where is your faith? What are your values? Who are you? What do you value? Where are you going to come down in there? So we're talking about also death and the Emperor. So death is transformation. The Emperor is those structured beliefs, right? The prescribed, externally dictated belief systems. And there's no room for externally dictated belief systems in any of this energy, right? Even Saturn is squaring Uranus through all of this. And, we're being asked to recreate our values, right? Especially, that's reflected with this death card. This is all about transformation, right? We know that death leads us here, away from all of this prescription, away from the way that things have been in the past, toward newness, toward this Sun in Aries, right? This is a big deal for us. This is that new year, astrologically speaking, in the middle of this Mars and Gemini cycle. So we're being asked to create all over again, right? How do we feel? That full moon in Libra right after Aries season starts, it's going to be a big one, right? Self, other, how do we experience this, right? We know that this is unconditional love, that beautiful unhurt place. We know that the lovers is either love or choices, right? It's about what does the divine want from you? Where is your heart? Where are you loved? Who do you love? Who loves you, right? What do you value? Well, guess what? Unconditional love is always the best place to come back to. That's that place of faith. That's that place we're transforming to, right? The Lovers is the card of Gemini. So as we have this Mars action, right, in light of this transit through Gemini for Mars, the challenge really is always to come back to this reciprocal energy of who are we? Who do we want to be? What do we value? What do we want to value? And as we're in this process of shifting into these big earth energies, right? Gemini is one of those. And Mars is that action toward what is new, toward this limitless possibility, knowing how we want to feel, trusting how we get there, trusting the process, right? Without holding on to what has been. Being in that constant recreation. Here again, we're witnessing the Emperor in the world, right? The world and death, these are very complementary energies as well. Death is about transformation. The world is about cycles, ending and beginning. Again, we've got the beginning of the astrological new year with Aries season. And with all of these big transits, this is all about what are we releasing? What are we coming into? What are we releasing? What are we coming into? We have a new moon in Aries, right, on the 12th. Again, what are we releasing and what are we coming into right after this full moon in Libra? This is all about your relationship to other and your relationship to self, highlighted here. Who are you? What do you value? Right? How do you want to feel? How do you want to feel with that big Neptune up there? So we have the Page of Wands, the King of Cups. Okay, so Mars energy and Neptune energy. Sure, okay. So we're also being asked to fuse our actions, our impulses with those things that are better felt than spoken, right? With our compassion, with our heart, with our divine love, right? Neptune is the higher octave of Venus. It is that experience of the divine, right? Where Venus is the sensory experience, Neptune is the experience of the divine. So we've got the divine in here in several places. Right? How do we manifest that? How do we follow that impulse, right? The messaging of our physical being, right? How do we create ourselves as the antenna for that Gemini energy? Every possibility, every potential. How do we witness ourselves as that emotionally mature, emotionally whole, right? Emotionally whole entity. Full moon in Libra, new moon in Aries, right? With all of this beautiful Mars and Gemini potential. The Mars will be moving over the North Node, also in Gemini, right? Creation of your own future. Creation. How do we create? From our feelings, right? I mean, Seven of Cups. Gemini, well, it's a card of Neptune, but it's every potential. It's about, is it illusion? Is it real? Right? How do you discern? You get quiet. You get to that place beyond heartache, right? Where you have this brand new idea. Oh, okay, I understand. Let me love like I've never been hurt, right? That's that Four of Swords is all about processing. Mercury conjuncts Chiron in the middle of this cycle at 9 Aries, while the Sun is sextiling Mars and Mars is squaring Neptune. This is a beautiful time to get clear on what your pain has taught you and what you want to learn from it, right? And how you want to create from it and what you want to let go, right? What you witness in faith as a gift. I mean, there's a lot of ways to get from one place to the other. The best one is to feel into it. Find where your heart space is. Find that place of value, right? From the multiplicity potential that Gemini hands you. And create as, right? Mars gives you boundless energy and impulse to do that. And then as all these planets move into Aries, this is really a time of forming and shaping, right? All the way up to the 22nd of April, when Venus conjuncts Uranus in Taurus and Mars is at 29 degrees, right before we switch up into Cancer, the sign of the heart, the sign of nurturing, the sign of that beautiful heart-based energy, right? Which will allow us all to really manifest all the work that we do during this 50-day cycle. So my recommendation is to really get in touch with that blurry energy, right? How do you describe a blur? Well, you can't. It was blurry. It's how you're going to feel, right? And that's okay. That's how you're supposed to feel right now. Dig in, right? Like, let this energy have you. And then as things shift into that more outwardly moving Aries energy, let that have you too, right? Feel those fires that you have really contemplated as they get lit one by one. And then when everything starts moving into Taurus, you will be ready for the construction, for the building, right? For the way that you put your boots on the ground. Yeah, that's right. All right, heart of the sky. That is beautiful, by the way. Can you see that? Heart of the sky. The heart of the sky is the love force that made all creation possible. This same force is present when you create with originality, when you bring formlessness to form, or inspired ideas to expression. I mean, come on. This primeval force does not know good or bad. It is up to us to provide the clear intention that will guide it to manifest. The heart of the sky helps us call in beauty from the invisible world and birth it in the world of matter. The heart of the sky brings you a sacred reminder. You are a channel for the original energy of creation. Become the paintbrush, the canvas, and the artist, all guided by the heart of the sky. Right? Set your intention ethically and clearly and allow the universe to take care of the details. You may feel responsible for everything and everyone. Perhaps you think you have to do it all alone. This takes you into a dark hole where you lose trust in the natural order of the cosmos. Shed your lofty sense of duty and recognize that this is a false prison of your own making. You can open the door and set yourself free in an instant. Well, if that's not all about what we just talked about, creating from that beautiful nebulous place of all creation, right? That's that Gemini and Mars energy. Call in the beauty from the invisible world, right? This is all about that Venus and Sun energy as it moves into Aries. Set your intention ethically and clearly. That's what we're doing, right? We're clarifying, we're distilling here, right? And how do you distill? You have to distill through the filters. And how do you do that? You have to feel into it. That Gemini energy, you may feel responsible for everything and everyone. You may feel like you have to do it alone. This takes you into a dark hole where you lose trust in the natural order of the cosmos, right? This all comes back to that faith card, right? Gemini has a hard time because there is so much possibility, right? So to get back to that place of faith is a challenge. How do you do that? Well, you do it especially when it's hard. You lean in, especially when it's hard, right? It's always going to be a challenge, right? To trust, to have faith, to understand that the process is the process, and that we're always constantly coming back to this place of alignment, and that it's okay to move away from those places where our feelings hurt us, right? And perhaps there's a new way to shuffle those and look at those. Perhaps things are different than you thought they were. Perhaps the way you process them shifts and changes as you feel into those places and allow your beliefs and thoughts to transform, right? In that heart of the sky. It's kind of all the same message, really. You know, always coming back to that deep, deep place of alignment. Yeah. There's a lot going on. So just keep asking yourself, is this in alignment with who I am? Is this in alignment with what I value? Is this in alignment with the life I'm choosing to create? Is this what I want? And then by the end of this cycle, right, as all those big planets, as we go into Capricorn, as Mars moves into Capricorn at the end of this cycle, squaring Saturn, right, we have that opportunity to put that routine into place. So now is the time to do this work, right, in that super duper whale depth, right? The language of the whales speak. It's where we are now. And if you have to learn it, you might find that it's more comfortable than you thought, right? It's just a new way to express yourself. You might like it. Anyway, dig in, guys. This is the big work, especially when it's hard. Big blessings.